Is it this one, or is it this one? Friends, for as long as we've been discussing, decoding, dissecting symbols and their associated meanings, sound has remained an integral facet of the human experience. From echoes and hums to clamor and chants, all of it resonance from within the human soul. Now, for millennia, we've poured so much of what we know and feel into sound. Adventure, war, love, peace, sorrow, happiness, worship, hate, the list goes on and on, yeah. Now, our shared pursuit to express experience through sound has led to what I believe is the single greatest invention in the history of our species. Everyone's modern addiction, music. Now, because music reflects soul, it allows us to think and simultaneously feel on an entirely different level outside of ourselves. Music also often defines both individual and group identity. Thus, music doesn't just represent symbols, it creates them. Or at least that's what German Baroque composer Johann Sebastian Bach believed. Anyone who's ever looked back on the evolution of music, especially in the West, has undoubtedly come across the name Bach. Why is that? That's a good question. Johann Sebastian is remembered for his ability to take an incredibly important cultural belief, Christianity, and give it its highest musical resolution. His passions, you can think of them like albums, were each based on the first 4 books of the New Testament. Matthäus, Marcus, Lucas, Johannes. That's it. Now, okay, label dispute. It's like, did he actually contribute to Johannes? It's debated, but that's not the point. His passions and other works really displayed Bach's ability to not just raise the musical bar for perfection, but anyone who engages with his work is kind of left with this message. That message is to let your belief guide your creativity into systems that become sharper and more transcendent with each iteration. But Mr. Stacy, I hear you cry. This is all riveting. But what does this have to do with 100 Gecs? Well, friends, as we're about to uncover, 100 Gecs and Johann Sebastian Bach are 2 vastly different sides of the same philosophical coin. Like Bach, 100 Gecs confront the uncomfortable, fundamental search for truth and our eternal questions of meaning. And they answer with music. Now, I get it. I mean, their work may seem erratic, meme-filled, ironic, or even flat-out meaningless. But beneath the layers of auto-tune, dubstep, ska guitar riffs, and glitchcore, for me personally, there is an incredibly real, palpable philosophic stance, one that mirrors that of the greats. So friends, journey with me, if you will, as we uncover what that philosophic stance is and how 2 individuals from Missouri would become symbols of the absurd.
Une lutte en commun, mais on était copains, on était amis. Il y avait l'amitié au théâtre, qui comptait beaucoup, puis il y avait les amitiés personnelles, auxquelles il était profondément attaché, et enfin, il y avait comme cela toute une série de groupes d'amis qui, pour lui, étaient des véritables bases, je dirais, dans lesquelles il pouvait résister à l'absurde.
Comment? Pourquoi je fais du théâtre? Eh bien, je me le suis souvent demandé. Et la seule réponse que j'ai pu me faire jusqu'à présent vous paraîtra sans doute d'une décourageante banalité. Tout simplement parce qu'une scène de théâtre est un des lieux du monde où je suis heureux.
Friends, it is said that there are a number of things that transcend all time, culture, nationality, sexuality, language, etc. Now, for our purposes today, we are going to focus on the one thing that does transcend all those things, and that is tension. The tension that exists within humanity stems from our valid desire for meaning and the underlying reality of a meaningless universe. Going further, we've never, as a species, we've never been given any clear, eternal, direct explanation or divine answer about the true meaning and paradox of our existence. Like, why us? Why here? Why a prefrontal cortex? Why a meteorite? Why an ice age? Why the Minecraft movie? And if there really was an all-encompassing nothing, okay, let's do it. All-encompassing nothing, that's great. But as I understand it, energy can only ever be converted, so nothing can't come from something. And so, well then, what are we? I mean, you know what I mean? Are we the beginning? Are we the middle? Are we the end? Or are we somehow at the same time, everything happening at once, repeating and collapsing inward forever? It's a lot. It is. It's a lot. And beyond that, what could we even properly call all of existence? Is there anything we can know for certain? And is there anything we can do to get some relief from the overwhelming tension that exists within the human condition? Dear friends, I believe there is. Enter the father of the absurd, Albert Camus. Albert Camus was a French-Algerian philosopher and writer and journalist best known for his contributions to existentialism, absurdism, and the absurd. He was born on November 7th, 1913 in, I'm going to butcher this, Modivi, Algeria. At the time it was a French colony. Now, Albert's father died when he was just 1 year old, and he was raised in abject poverty by his mother. However, thanks to his academic commitment, he was able to get a scholarship and pursue philosophy at the University of Algiers. But his education was interrupted when he was diagnosed with tuberculosis or consumption, which back then was considered a nearly fatal disease. But despite his illness, he became involved in journalism, theater, and political activism. Craziest thing about this guy, during World War II, he moves to France under Nazi-occupied rule. Bro literally joins the underground newspaper combat and begins writing for them. Legend. After the war, he later gained international fame for his novels The Stranger, The Plague, and his magnum opus came in the form of his philosophic essay, The Myth of Sisyphus. Friends, journey with me, if you will, to the land of Greek mythology where the story of Sisyphus unfolds.
The thing before.
Yeah, true.
At least that's how my brain works.
Sisyphus vibes.
Money Machine's classy.
You know Sisyphus?
No. Yes.
That
Wait,
dude
no.
that pushes
What?
that ball.
Say again?
That dude that pushes that ball up the hill
Oh my god.
for all of eternity.
Long ago, there was a cunning king who defied the gods and was punished for his arrogance and deceit. Sisyphus, the king of Corinth, was known for his cleverness and trickery. Once, when Thanos, the god of death, came to take him, Sisyphus tricked and chained him, preventing anyone from dying until the gods intervened. In another account, Sisyphus convinces his wife not to perform the proper burial rites for him upon his death. He then escapes the underworld by appealing to Hades and Persephone, claiming his death was a mistake. They let him return to life. For his repeated defiance and attempts to outsmart the divine order, the gods devised a special kind of punishment. Not torment, but repetition. Sisyphus is placed at the bottom of a steep hill and must roll a massive boulder up the slope. But just as he nears the top, the boulder always slips and rolls back down, forcing him to begin again and again, forever. I mean, it's a perplexing tale. Being forced into an eternity of completing the same task over and over and over, looping endlessly with no hope of true success or relief, is like buying a house in 2025. However, for Camus, the myth of Sisyphus becomes the pinnacle metaphor for tension in the human life, or what is truly called the absurd. You see, the absurd and the human experience are both repetitive in function, devoid of any eternal external answers, seemingly meaningless, and marked by struggle, and impossible to perfect. But instead of reading Sisyphus's fate as kind of a cautionary tale about disobedience and despair, Camus frees the narrative. He paints Sisyphus as the first of many heroes of the absurd, and by extension offers us a path to freedom and heroism in our own lives through the embrace of the absurd. But Mr. Stacy, I cry, how does one embrace the absurd? Revolt. Revolt is the cornerstone principle to absurdism. To revolt is to provide the proper response to the human condition. To revolt is first and foremost to live. No self-terminations. We are in this clown car flying through the abyss and no one's getting out, okay? It is to live on your own terms, to pursue joy in the face of meaninglessness, to pursue passion, to live passionately, to take every moment to feel fully here and now, to live your adventure, whether big, small, weird, conventional, risky, safe, whatever, to live without illusion or manipulation, to embrace the suffering of life and create meaning therein, not for others, not for the universe, but for yourself. Not to fear the abyss, but to hungrily stare in and drink in its gaze, to hold unflinching, awkward eye contact with it. You know what I mean? All of this in the face of an experience that screams you are meaningless. To revolt is to let go and to take control. It's to choose your path as an act of personal freedom and personal defiance. To forgive yourself for the cruelty in the world, and to let gratitude guide passion. When asked his thoughts on the absurd, Albert Camus said, quote, "One must imagine Sisyphus happy." In 1957, Albert Camus was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature at the age of 44. However, tragically, just 2 years after that, at the age of 46, he died in a car accident. Moment of silence for the home dog. You know, Camus' revolt, it wasn't just philosophical. For him, I believe it was incredibly personal. And in many ways, I mean, it's tragic, but he was still wrestling with it even when he died. And so, you know, if we take a step beyond Camus, right, it's like, okay, well, if we look across history and myth, you know, who were the heroes? You know, who embodied revolt? Who lived fully? Who, you know, embraced rebellion and purposefulness? Like, living on their own terms. Like, who was it, you know? And for me personally, this is the list that I've comprised of the heroes of the absurd. First and foremost, Diogenes. Diogenes was absolutely wild, man. Like, literally, bro, living in a barrel, refusing to bathe, rejecting social norms, like, publicly rejecting the idea of shame. I mean, like, wild, bro. Literally wild. What he represents, though, in many ways, is almost like a shameless truth, right? Believe that happiness and peace come from rejecting artificial needs and embracing things as they are. Not necessarily how society tells us they should be, but rather just how they are. Legend. Next up is a person we all know and love, okay? Everyone's favorite boulder roller. Boulder roller? Yes, he's everyone's favorite boulder roller. Sisyphus. Despite futility, he resists despair by embracing the repetition. His defiance stems from his continuance of his struggle. Prometheus, the martyr god. Known for stealing fire from Olympus to give to mankind, punished for all eternity. He represents sacrifice for knowledge, enlightenment, and doing something for others that they can't do for themselves. Van Gogh, the artist for the future. Known for Starry Night and his other visionary art, he represents expression beyond comprehension in his time. He painted through suffering, spoke a language of art that no one could really listen to at the time. I mean, he created such beauty without the promise of recognition. And anyways, I think each of these people I should like make an absolute video about because they're all legends. Ooh, Loki or Hermes, the agent of chaos. See, Loki is known for his deceptive nature, their deceptive nature, shape-shifting, stirring up divine disorder, representing fluidity, rebellion, the joy of upending systems, and using mockery and contradiction as a technology to illuminate what others won't see but nevertheless need to be made aware of. Orpheus. Known for descending into the underworld to rescue Eurydice, only to lose her at the last second by looking back. Ugh, tragic, beautiful, amazing. He represents devotion and weakness, the inability to resist love even when reason demands it, understanding limits and choosing to break them in the pursuit of love and hope. Icarus. Known for flying too close to the sun, falling to his death. Represents daring youthful rebellion, reckless ambition. He dies in the pursuit of sensation and instead of safety chooses intensity. Narcissus, or anyone born after 1990. The self-obsessed, known for falling in love with his own reflection and wasting away beside a reflective pool. Represents vain identity lost in self-image. Like, if I can say that. A prophecy of modern solipsism. Job, the unwavering sufferer, known for losing everything as a part of a divine wager between God and the devil, yet never giving up his faith. Stands unmoved in the face of losing everything and enduring extreme misery. He doesn't reject his suffering, he actually integrates that into his belief system. This next one is very special to me. Joan of Arc, the warrior saint. Known for being the original boss baddie, the teenage girl who led her country to freedom through visions, burned for heresy. She represents revelation against reason and faith as a technology in opposition to power. Her revolt wasn't just spiritual, it was political, both at the same time. Queen. Rasputin, the unkillable. Rasputin is known for his mysterious and infamous acts in, I'm gonna butcher this, Tarest, Russia. Nearly impossible to kill, represents unknowability, chaos, strange charisma, neither a prophet or a fraud, somehow both. Salvador Dali, the surrealist. Known for lobster telephones, melting clocks, performative madness, representing dream logic overtaking reality. Life as art, sincerity disguised as parody. Destroyed logic with elegance and mustaches. Legend. His work is like super trippy. Amazing. Last but certainly not least, Raphael, the divine architect. The master painter and architect of the Renaissance, he represents the synthesis of the ideal in a broken world. Through precise beauty, Raphael attempts to impose meaning despite knowing life's inherent meaninglessness. Now, all these figures that we've just listed, I mean, they're incredible. And in many ways, they've inspired our forebears for literal generations. But what about today? If we look at the modern cultural landscape, who are our heroes of the absurd? Who is embracing revolt and inspiring others to do the same? Friends, may I introduce you to one Dylan Brady and one Laura Less, the 100 Gecs.
Yeah.
Dylan Brady. What else we have? 10?
100.
100 Gecs.
100
Yep.
Gecs.
And our second album, 1000 Gecs, will be out this year as well.
So explain what 100 Gecs is to those who don't know.
Sure. It's me and my friend Laura.
Okay.
She is a Chicago-based musician. We met in St. Louis as well. She produces under Osno One, and we make these crazy songs together.
Okay.
And they,
What could you give us an idea of what it sounds like?
there's like a lot of pop elements and then like harsh noise elements and like you know John Zorn at all? This
I
weird
don't.
jazz musician
Should,
guy.
but-
It's like all over the place, kind of changing, really fucked up. Like you ever see those videos where it's like 8-year-old me using GarageBand and it's
Yeah.
like that terrible beat?
Right.
It's kind of like that.
Okay.
Let us begin with Dylan Brady. Dylan Marshall Brady was born on November 17th, 1993, and grew up in the suburbs of St. Louis. He attended a Montessori school during his elementary years in Missouri. Now, according to available information, in high school, while attending choir, he began taking piano lessons, which initially sparked his interest in composing music. While attending Webster's University in St. Louis for audio engineering, he started releasing music on SoundCloud as an electronic hip-hop producer. Now, Brady's career really got traction and took off as he began to release several demo albums on SoundCloud in 2013, 14, and 15. His self-released debut studio album came in 2015, All I Ever Wanted. Fire. Also, there was the Choker EP, Love and Peace as well in there, both bangers. And in 2016 as well, he co-produced the first Gecs record, 100 Gecs. That was in 2016. Now, beyond Gecs, Brady is known for his production and collaboration. He's a core member of the group Cake Pop, and he even owns his own record label, Dog Show Records, which is the same record label that all 100 Gecs music is released under. To this day, he remains incredibly active in collaborating and producing music with many artists, most recently Skrillex in particular. Laura Less. Laura Less, formerly known as Osno One, was born December 2nd, 1994, also hails from the suburbs of St. Louis, Missouri. As a teenager, she developed an interest in music while learning to play guitar. She attended the Columbia College in Chicago, and got a degree in acoustic engineering. Now, during her college years, she began releasing music under the moniker Osno One. Early releases include Hello Kitty Skates to the Fucking Park. No, fucking cemetery. And I just don't want to name it anything with beach in the title. Fire. Now, compared to Brady, there is a lot less information available on Laura. Less, okay, pun not intended. However, a few things are certain. Her music has always been incredibly unique. Honestly, a commitment to vocal experimentation that for me personally teeters on that of vocal alchemy. She also stands out today as one of the most compelling and important trans icons in music. An artist whose fearless experimentation with vocal identity and genre has not only expanded the boundaries of hyperpop, but also offered a radical expression of gender and selfhood in the digital age. So how did the Gecs become a thing? Well, okay, there's like a lot of like Gec lore, right? It's like, where do they come from? Where do they get their name? There's multiple stories, but it is generally agreed upon that Dylan and Laura first met during their high school years in the St. Louis area at a house party in 2012, despite both of them attending rival schools. They began collaborating musically, though, in 2015 on their first EP as 100 Gecs in Chicago at Laura's apartment. It was released the following summer in 2016 on July 12th, and is actually the first record we're going to dissect and attach to absurdist archetypes. Gum, Orpheus. Immediately when you play Gum, you're immersed in such emotional vulnerability. A cry for someone to come home, for a connection to be rekindled. It's desperate, aching, and entirely aware of its own futility. Like Orpheus, the narrator knows the risk of longing and does it anyway. They sing into a void driven by a love so intense that not even reason can smother it. Quote, such a banger. Quote, you gotta come home, you know you can't stay alone, you know you're too cold. Banger. Literally Orpheus crying into the abyss for Eurydice. Changed my mind. Dog Food, Rasputin. The narrator of Dog Food feels like someone who shouldn't be here and yet like still is. Quote, I've been dead for years / I don't answer texts. Shakespeare. There's a specter-like persistence in their presence. And for me, like Rasputin, the character in Dog Food seems both mystical and grotesque. A figure people may recoil from, but ultimately can't seem to remove. The track is both a joke and a metaphor, where survival is absurd because it serves no clear purpose. And it continues. Rasputin himself wasn't a philosopher or a saint, but his refusal to die, his existence resembles something between both myth and man. And for me personally, it's very reminiscent of what Dog Food represents. Now this next song is very important to all the early Gec fans. Bloodstains. Job. Bloodstains is a catalog of ritualized pain and resolute independence. Broken glass, vomit, bloodstains on the bathroom floor, yet the narrator keeps moving. They keep living, without justification or relief. This mirrors Job's integration of pain, not rejecting it, not ignoring it, but actually confronting it over and over again. There's also this like eerie kind of like spiritual numbness as well, almost like the act of survival in of itself becomes its own kind of twisted devotion in a world where maybe the only things that are real are the bloodstains. Beautiful. So the self-titled EP drops, and it does get a good amount of traction. People are really fucking with it, obviously. But what comes next? Where's the evolution for 100 Gecs? Well, friends, it's actually a simple mathematical equation. Take 900 and add 100. You get 1,000 Gecs.
Yeah, Chicago is cold as
It was
fuck.
for New Year's.
Yeah, for New Year's.
We went out to a thing
Yeah,
on New
the trip.
Year's and then
That's exactly what it was.
holed up in my apartment for a week.
I didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, we had no idea. We just were like, we were gonna make something.
Yeah. And what came out of that? Is that what
the first EP?
The first EP.
100 Gecs.
100 Gecs.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was like 2015.
I don't remember when we actually put it up online. Yeah, it was done for a while before we actually threw it up.
It was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Does it start to get a response?
Yeah.
From a lot from like online, like nightcore people for sure. Some other people.
Didn't go as crazy as this one.
Did not go as crazy as this one.
Thus, after the raw, vulnerable hauntingness of the 100 Gecs EP, Dylan and Laura, they really finished what they started in Chicago by taking it and throwing it into a digital particle accelerator. 1000 Gecs was recorded entirely remotely between Laura's apartment in Chicago and Dylan's LA studio. Now y'all, the album is a whopping 22 minutes long, and I mean, it's wild, man, in the best way. It's a chaotic mesh of glitch, humor, punk, vulnerability, absurdity. Absurdity not just as a backdrop, but baked into the soul of the record. You got sampling of door slamming, okay, explosive auto-tune, dubstep, ska, water droplets, noisecore, pop punk. Think like digital vaporized backyard club music. It's anarchic, but in a very precise way, crafted with almost kind of like this like manic care. It's not just a chaotic work for chaos's sake. It's meaning via maximalism. And the best song to actually unpack that idea is the first song we're going to unpack and assign to an absurdist archetype. Money Machine. Money Machine is the quintessential Gec anthem. It doesn't just announce its presence, it's the point of no return. Ultra-violent piss-baby monologue turns to thunderous bass proclamation about personalized cleanliness that akin to a financial dispensary. Quote, "Big boys coming with the big trucks. I feel so clean like a money machine. Oh yeah." If that's not Prometheus stealing fire from the gods, I don't know what is. Stupid Horse, Hermes, Loki. Now, for many Gec enjoyers, Stupid Horse was kind of like the love at first sight. It's a thrilling, chaotic, wild adventure about a gambling addiction leading to a life crisis spiral which results in the assault of a horse jockey, a swordfish dancing on a carousel, and the abduction of the racehorse. Why Loki Hermes though? I mean, as archetypes of divine chaos and trickery, it's clear to me that the characters in the song, the jockey, the swordfish, the horse, they were themselves all faded symbols of chaos and trickery, right? And so if we strip all the layers back, it's not the horse who's stupid for having lost the race, it's the narrator's misplaced rage because of the horse losing the bet that he himself was never in control of because control is an illusion. Gec. Salvador Dali. Now, of all the songs on 1000 Gecs, this one's special to me. It's a two-part absurdity ballad. The first part is about a minute and 20 seconds exactly, actually. Basically a noisecore symphony designed to disorient, overwhelm, and leave you perhaps feeling like, wait, this is like, what the heck happened? And then the last minute and 4 seconds is one of the single greatest love ballads of all time. Quote, "You can call on me anytime and I'm running home to you. Baby, baby, I'm not stronger than you." Incredible. What's being communicated is something so true about human nature. in relationships specifically. While power dynamics always play a role in unity and partnership, in the final analysis, it's so important to remember that you aren't particularly any less or more capable than anyone else, especially your loved ones. Truth delivered through vulnerability and absurdity? Salvador Dali would be so proud. Now, there's no question that the album slaps, okay? Literally genre defining and, in a very real way, career establishing for the Gecs. I mean, 1,000 Gecs altered the landscape of music permanently. And so for the world and the fans, we all waited. And it's always the same question, like, where could they go next? And in true Gec fashion, they added another 9,000 Gecs to the single 1,000 Gecs. And they gave us the immaculate 10,000 Gecs.
Yeah. Brilliant. So I think Johann Sebastian Bach would like that. I think that's what he would be doing.
I don't know. He hasn't hit us back.
21st century.
If he likes it so much, you should answer our calls. Keep trying to get him on a track.
So,
friends, thus far we have paid tribute to the celestial hymns of Johann Sebastian. We've contemplated the mind of Albert Camus, wrestled with the conundrum of Sisyphus's fate, and uncovered archetypes and heroes of the absurd laced throughout history, time, and myth. Dissected the concoctions conceived in a freezing Chicago apartment and raged through the digital blender. All of it has led us here to 10,000 Gecs. The musical equivalent of the absurdist cathedral, where failure isn't success, but it is. Where personal meltdowns become a kind of prayer, where embarrassment isn't just owned, it's weaponized. Where emotional isolation is shouted into the abyss as a ritual of acceptance, and nu metal and glitch aren't just styles, they're sonic architecture. This album is absurdity unbound. Think revolt in its most perfected musical form. 757 Icarus. "757 is loud, fast, and unapologetically dangerous. The narrator is deliberately pushing limits, not despite the danger, but because of it. There's no concern for safety, no consideration for consequence even. Just a pure presentism and a love for the burn. Much like Icarus of old, who flew too close to the sun and fell to his death, pursuing sensation above all else is at the core of the song. Now, for me personally, there is a deeper philosophic message laced within the lyrics. Quote, 757, yeah, I'll never go to heaven. Told the devil he's a lemon. It's almost like an admission that while the narrator has relinquished their need for celestial trajectory, misery, manipulation, and despair are not filling in the gaps. Essentially, it's a proclamation that I don't need heaven or hell, I just need what's here and now. I got my tooth removed. Joan of Arc. Belief versus sacrifice in the face of, frankly, a very brutal reality. The narrator is frantically trying to justify to themselves why they don't need to do anything to actually fix the situation. And by ignoring the pain, it will hopefully solve itself. Quote, "It doesn't hurt me every day, so I just let it get away. I'll deal with it another day. I guess that day just never came." In the same way, being a woman born in the 14th century Europe, Joan was expected to passively use her faith to hope that her nation would be freed from English invasion. But in the end, neither Joan nor the narrator could live like that. France needed a savior, and the narrator needed their tooth removed, both of which required incredibly uncomfortable sacrifice. Quote, "And I know it's so hard to let you go. I brushed every day. I gave it all away. I wanted this to work. I did. Goodbye." I don't know whether or not we have properly, accurately translated what Joan of Arc's final words were, but I guarantee you it was something like that. Last but certainly not least, my dearest friends, me, Van Gogh.
You'll never really know, You'll never really know, anything about me, anything about me.
I think Van Gogh really embodies the soul of this song because he himself was an orbiter of the misunderstood, creating art for people that he didn't know whether or not would ever exist, trying to speak a language that maybe he himself doubted if there was any worth in it. And so for me, this song strikes at the heart of one of the most uncomfortable realities of existence. You see, we live in an age where, to a large degree, everyone, everywhere, is sharing constantly information about themselves. I mean, if you really think about it, our capacity to comprehend one another, like species to species, human to human, on paper has never been greater. And yet, as I have experienced life, one of the most beautiful and tragic things about the human condition is just how incomprehensible another soul truly is. Me isn't just a metaphor for the decay of connection. It's a philosophic thesis about the incomprehensible nature of not just others, but ourselves. Quote, I guess it's such an easy game if it puts you right to sleep. Rationale and cheap cliche, hollow and callously. Could you explain it all away like it was all so clean? Something sad about the way it's okay, bet, I'll forget, and I guess I never knew, but I don't think I'll forget. It's cool. I guess I'll never know. No, no, no. No, no, no. Anything about me, 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 me. Me, me, me.
Show me your heart and right to this part where I didn't mean to hurt you. And show me the one where the monkeys laughing. And show me again. Show me a happy ending. Show me my world. And show me the people smiling. And show me that ass. And show me again. And back it up right this direction. And show me a song. Da-ba-da-ba. The one where the whole world's singing. And show me that mind. Show me that. Show me that. Show me that thing. What the fuck was that? Show me my mind before I put all that stuff inside it. Show me a good time. Show me your hands in the sky. Show me your hands. Show me your fucking hands. Show me the